Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video.
Well, back out here at Giga Texas, I'm wearing my Cybertruck shirt because we got some interesting information last night from Tesla, and that is a new version of the Cybertruck is being produced. Now, this is a standard edition all-wheel drive, and its price point, at least for right now, is at $59,990 here in the United States. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this vehicle is kind of a cross between the old long-range rear-wheel drive with the kind of the textile interior, and doesn't have that rear screen, and it has a few less features inside, but also for the structure of the car, it has coil springs instead of the air suspension, but it adds all-wheel drive, all-wheel steering, and in addition to all of those great features, it has the electric tonneau cover and the outlets in the rear bed. So I think at this price of $59,990 and all of the features that you get with it and with the all-wheel drive, this is actually a really great deal. Now, the only thing that is a little bit questioning is that this morning when I was arriving here at Giga Texas, Elon Musk posted this, which says this is only good for 10 days, essentially the rest of February. Why? I don't know. And what does this mean after that? That's a very good question. So I hope that Tesla gets a lot of sales, but also that they realize that this is a really great price point and a competitive version of the Cybertruck, and hopefully they keep this. Who knows, maybe they'll introduce another rear-wheel drive at a lower price with similar features. I don't really know, but for right now, if you're looking for a Cybertruck and you want to get an all-wheel drive but save some money, this is really a great deal. Now, one other thing that I want to talk about here briefly is we know that they're building the Cybercabs, and they had the first production last week. Now, one of the things that I noticed in the picture that you see here of the entire team is the location in the factory, and I just thought I would show you this grid map of where this is. This is Y65 on the grid lines. This is on the east side, right next to that kind of temporary loading platform with the two new tanks and that door that we've been seeing the Cybercabs exiting out of, and where I've shown you where they have the painted lines. This will be the exit point of the Cybercabs from the factory, and with that image of all of the team in that general area really confirms that. So I thought you might find that interesting. So without further ado, there is a lot more going on here at the site today. So let's get in the drone, let's fly around and see what else is here at Giga Texas on this Friday.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Well, good morning from the northwest side near Tesla Road, looking back at the main factory over this new staging yard. This is actually the rental equipment lot, and it's being relocated from northeast of the battery cathode plant to this location to allow for more construction. You can see some of the workshops being set up, some of the equipment that's being moved over here and stored. Also this trailer with the tank saying rentals, just in case we need another clue, and just more of the materials being transported and staged here. Now, this is part of a overall wide-scale effort to reconfigure the entire site to allow for a lot more construction that's going to be happening later this year. Now, as we fly over this steel that's being stored on this this staging yard, of course, next to the ever-present Evapco fan units and bases, which are waiting patiently for their day to be installed. We can look across this smaller section with the trailers and the workshops to this staging yard. It's got those white tents and more of those containers that are stored here for equipment and items to be out of the weather. And then next to that is the casting racks that are being stored here, and another section for steel. Now, this field is going to eventually be a welcome center and employee visitor center. There are 2 brand new permits that have been filed very recently. Here they are, number 2023-1747 and 2025-0605. These are being updated, and from what I'm being told is this field is where that will be constructed. So that'll be something that we continue to watch for. Now, I kind of move back over towards this new intersection where we can see the road getting prepared to be extended along the right-hand side near the perimeter fence. Of course, the earthwork that has been underway here to remove a lot of the tree and shrub debris and work on some of the grade. You can see the stakes on the ground for what will eventually be some more construction. Now, this very large staging yard, I don't think is going anywhere anywhere soon. It's continuing to getting more equipment. Of course, all of the transformers. It's a great shot across this section of how many there are. The new workshop off to the left coming into the center of the screen, and just a lot more items. And I think this is going to be picking up a lot of the extra materials that are around this location to allow for more construction, which we will see here momentarily. Now, as we go over this part of the material staging yard and some of the crated and wrapped items here in the center of the screen, I want to point out that there's some new trailers being delivered today that have temporary cooling units, and that's on the top center of the screen coming into view. These are being moved over to the Cortex 2 facility to allow for more temporary cooling for that data center. We're going to see a lot of these later today, plus a new permit. This is the construction for superchargers. This is a base unit. You can tell where the post would be on either side and the center cabinet. And also in that workshop, some of that are already being constructed. You can see some more being delivered here today, and more in the kind of the staging yard behind that workshop. We also see these blue pipes and some of the other segments here. We will see these being installed over at the Cortex 2 chiller plant as well later in the video. Just briefly looking over this field and the power lines to that old contractor parking lot. You can see that the gravel has been removed from that western half, but not a lot of work has happened in the last few days. Now, this section continues to be cleared out of materials and being prepared for what I think is going to be a new logistics yard or lot throughout this entire section, maybe even an outbound lot of parking for cybercabs. There is permits for this. They don't give us a lot more information, but with all of the movement on this side to clear this out, I think that's really good indication that that's what it's going to be. I also suspect that the east warehouse on wheels will be moved over here, but again, that is still speculation until we see more of that effort. We will see some of that going on later in the video. This area continues to get a few deliveries, as we can see in the right top of the screen, and some of the other concrete materials that are being used around the site. And we get in a little bit closer, you can see what this looks like right now. Looks like there's some rack systems that have been delivered. Of course, there's also some bins for debris and old packaging being prepared for recycling. Bring the drone up over the power lines. We'll come up over towards the South Bridge, look at the main factory, and then we'll take a look across the highway to see the wrap-up work where the old caissons were constructed. Great view of where that caisson used to be and the kind of construction fence. can see the Cyber Pond, and on the right, all of the work just to the south of River Road seems to be completed for now. As I fly along the road, this gives you a better view along the berm of the work, the equipment, and the final preparations to wrap up this stage of construction. And that is all been for 24-inch pipes for water and treated water throughout that entire section. As we fly this direction over the Cyber Tunnel, we get a good view of what is going on at the end of line in the outbound lot. This is a Friday, but despite that, production is going on today. There is a lot of Model Ys being built, as you can tell, and interspersed there are some Cybertrucks. And to go along with our intro discussion about that new lower cost all-wheel drive Cybertruck, we'll see how that goes. If it goes pretty well, and also more than 10 days, we should start seeing a lot of Cybertrucks being built, but we will see how that goes over the next week or two. But a lot of other vehicles are being staged here, being picked up by the transports, and I noted a lot of transports departing this site today. Many vehicles lined up along this side of the end of line facility, and some of those are for direct delivery to customers. And you can see a few of those here next to the direct delivery center. The semi is back, getting mega charged here on the north side, and a great view here looking across the direct delivery center and to the flags at the west main entrance. So I kind of maneuver our way around the poles and to the north end. Can get a good sense of that operation. Again, production is on today, even though it's a Friday, and that may be to make up for some delays or downtime that they had when they were celebrating the Cybercab, and perhaps doing some other work on the inside production lines as different products, including that lower cost Cybertruck, are being prepared. So let's get ready to cross over the highway, and we'll take a look at what's going on nearer the factory. As we fly around the northwest corner of Giga Texas, show you these two large tanks that were delivered about a week ago. Still have not been moved, but hopefully we'll see these moved into the 4680 cell portion of the factory very soon. I did notice that there's a lot more of these racks that are used for various parts of the Model Ys, and some of them are for bumpers, some of them are for interior panels, and a variety of other plastic parts. Did notice that there's more of these kind of rail systems and also stands, and some of them are for a Cybercab, and it seems like we're getting a lot more of those, and that makes sense as we get closer to production. Work here with the Cybertruck castings continues to move them in for production, and we see some landscaping crews with some irrigation pipes along this part of the cyber berm. I also noticed more of these kind of stands and railing systems on this side of the material staging yard for the castings, and some more at the bottom of the screen, which I believe are for Cybercab. We do see a lot of Cybertruck castings here on the northeast side, some more work with the underground vault and the manhole cover through this section. And as we get in a little bit closer here, I will give you a low altitude zoomed in view of some of the activities. Now at the bottom of the screen, we see some Cybertruck and some Cybercab rear castings, the upper part of that. And then in here, we see the second furnace loading system. I've had some viewers point out that this has not been in operation yet. There's still some items on the ground that need to be installed. So they're only using one furnace for right now. Of course, they're melting down those aluminum wheels and some of that other scrap material, as well as some other items that are being brought in from off-site. Now here's a good view of all the castings in the racks on the left. Here are some castings for scrapping at the center of the screen. Some of them are for Cybertruck, and you can see next to it the Cybercab, and the size is very apparent which one is which. Here's some more castings. These are, looks like the front underbody castings for the Cybercab, and we see the rear subframes in some of the rack mounts. Some more being brought by the forklift coming underneath the bottom of the screen. So I'll kind of maneuver around the baghouse filtration plant and the power lines, and we'll get around and higher and kind of take a look what's going on here on the east side of the factory. Thought I would stop here and show you what's going on in this material staging yard. In addition to all the materials that are being brought in, we also see this excavation work along this part of the parking lot and the helicopter pad. This is the construction trailer and wind tunnel power, and the wind tunnel is at the bottom right of the screen. On the left, it looks like they are getting ready to have some trailers put in here. That may be what the power is for. This is also likely part of the kind of relocating a lot of items on the east side of the site to various other locations to prepare for that new construction. But you can see that covered over trench at the bottom of the screen, and more of the trenching proceeding along the south side of the parking lot, which continues to be full, but not as many of the standard Model Ys and a few other vehicles intermixed in this area. I'll zoom in here and next to the secondary main entrance to show you that there's rebar being put into that kind of construction zone next to the glass, and more items on the ground for production lines getting ready to be brought into the factory. As I kind of pan along the east side, it's a great kind of a view of what is going on here. Some of those temporary chiller units next to that platform, and then here is that exit point for the Cybercabs. And with the discussion with the grid lines, you know exactly where that is and how it relates to the interior of the factory. You'd notice that there are some crates that have been delivered next to stamping here. You can see them being prepared to be opened up and moved inside for installation. And then next to the cooling plant and on River Road, the extension, more of the work to install those green pipes and allow for that extension to proceed all the way over to the east and then to the north for that road. More items being stored here at the bottom of the screen. The crated items and the red painted items are more production line equipment for Cybercab, as that line continues to be finished out, and we are now just over a month from when production is supposed to begin in earnest. Here's a great view of this work to extend River Road throughout this new clearing. You can see where the earthwork is being done and how it proceeds around the tree line. That's where the road is going to go, and we'll show you where more of that is a little bit later. There is continued excavation in the rest of the site, and along these drainage ditches and Robotic Avenue, you can see that there's pipe work that has been installed all the way along, and we're going to follow that here today. First, I wanted to show you more of the earthwork here on the southeast corner of this material staging yard, and this is for more of drainage out of this section. As I mentioned, I'm going to follow along Robotic Avenue and show you the work that's being done all along here at the kind of center of the screen, where earthwork along these drainage ditches have also put in water pipes, and this may be a drainage pipe for water coming out of the chiller plant for Cortex 2, which you see at the top of the screen. And as we continue to maneuver over towards this four-way intersection, we'll take a look at these trees that about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, were relocated to this location. You can see some of the pipes, some of the augers on the ground on the right, and some of the trench boxes here next to the right-hand side of the screen, and more on the left. And this all kind of connects all the way through over towards where that cooler plant is for the Cortex 2. While I'm here, I'm going to fly over the parking lots for a lot of the contractor vehicles and some of the workshops. to get to this location where we have been seeing a lot of work to get ready to remove a building and other structures, and also to remove this large hill and some of the concrete debris. Now, the structure is a old maintenance facility for concrete trucks, and that should be removed soon. This pile of dirt and debris predates to some extent Giga Texas, although some of the concrete here is part of the construction process. And here's a great look back to that large clearing, and on the left-hand side of the screen where I think River Road is going to come through, and that's one of the reasons why this large hill has to be removed, because a part of that road is going to come through here, and there's going to be more construction. But this is a great view of the current work, the size of the hill, and the equipment to remove all of this. And so it's going to be several more weeks of work to get this taken care of. So one of the things I want to show you today, which is exciting, is work that's being done on the anthropomorphic test device or crash test dummy lab here at the south end of the crash test facility. There is a lot of steel erection being done today. This looks like a standard steel structure that you see all throughout Texas. And there will be metal siding and roof decking that will be installed. It will look very similar to what the crash test facility itself looks like as far as the exterior metal. Now, on the west side, more of the crash tested vehicles, many more of the Cybercabs, some of which have been here for a while. And then on the north end, we see 3 of these. Now, originally I thought because of the door markings that these might have been engineering test ones. However, I've had some viewers point out that the tires have stickers on them, and even though they're mismatched tires and wheels, we saw in that group shot of the employees for the production line that these are the wheels. They'll just have wheel covers. We also see kind of a toe strap on the front bumper of each of them, and that is for being towed in the crash test facility for crash testing. We also did not see any steering wheels on these particular models. So what we may be seeing is production models being crash tested to validate the final designs and make sure that the vehicles that are being produced do have the same crash worthiness that the test vehicles have had. Now I'm going to continue to the northeast. Over this pond, we saw this kind of bridge-like earth structure being put in on my previous video. Now we see continued clearing along through the tree line. You can tell with all the hills and valleys, this used to be the part of the sand and gravel mining. But I believe all of this, all the way through this section where you see the kind of trail heading over to the lone tree field, is where River Road is going to extend all the way up to this location. And then there have been permits for Harold Green Road, the new version of that, to proceed through this field over towards the highway you see at the top of the screen. And we'll see if all of this does connect together. But as I turn around, you can kind of see through the tree line where the River Road may be going, and proceeding all the way over near where the parking garage was in the distance. I also mentioned at the beginning of the video that the equipment lot was being relocated. This is the equipment lot. You can tell that it's continuing to be dismantled. Equipment's being moved away from here. Some of the concrete slabs that they had here for some of the workshops will be cleaned up. There's only one covered structure right now, but I expect to see that duplicated in that new location. So a lot of changes here for eventual construction. Speaking of which, the work to reclaim this part of this large field continues. They're separating the tree and wood debris from the dirt, and all the piles are either clean dirt or the separated wood materials. So that work is definitely continuing. Here is the work to destroy or basically crush all of the old concrete debris that has been stored in this area for a long time. You can tell with the larger shot how much is being cleared out. With the close-in shot here, gives a great view of how the operation works. There are some workers for a sense of scale next to some of the equipment, and you can see some of the conveyor systems that take items from one of the crushing devices to another and then sorts it onto the ground. Of course, the large aggregate piles are the bulk of what is remaining, although there is rebar being reclaimed as well. This is what's remaining of this part of the site for now, and that work is going to continue for quite some time. That includes that large hill that we talked about earlier that's being removed. Here is a good look at the transformers being stored right now. These will eventually be installed on the west side of Cortex 2. And let's go ahead and proceed over to Cortex 2 now, over this water tank and some of the concrete vault items, and see what is going on today. Now on the north side, as I zoom in, it's a great view of some of the paving work that is underway. They've been paving around the north side, now onto the east side here in this small kind of lot. And much of this has been used to kind of do mud control and also for material staging. So we'll see how all of this comes together. This is a great view of the kind of construction site in between the cathode building on the left and Cortex 2 on the right, and some of the work that continues on the ground with trenching and installation of pipes. Also, some of the contractor trailers and containers on that side. As we get closer in here, a good view of that new asphalted section. Underneath there is some piers, so that's again something to be watching to see what they do. Some more concrete or asphalt has been placed here on the north side of the concrete slab for the second part of the chiller unit, divided into those 6 sections. Each one of those will be fan housings with the fan units on the top, just like with part 1, which you see in the upper right hand side of the screen. You can also tell that they're doing some more work to prepare for asphalt, and this workshop has continued to expand with now some storage of materials just to the north. As I kind of turn back, this is a great view of the activity that is going on with some concrete being poured, trenching, asphalts on the left, and work with the megapacks. A few of them have had the plastic covers removed. Of course, the electrical system to support those megapacks, and part 1 of the cooling system has those 4 fans installed, some of the manifolds and pipes that connect to it. And on the south end, we see more of those fiber reinforced polymer beams being installed for the 5th and 6th fan enclosures. And that work is progressing very, very quickly. On the ground, we see those 12 temporary cooling systems, a lot of the pipe work to connect it in, and the blue pipes on the right that I mentioned earlier that came from that far southwest. Here is the permit for the chiller plant, the temporary cooling. And this is going to expand probably some more with the temporary cooling units, which we saw being delivered on that far southwest corner. Here's a great view of the work right now going on with these pipes going into the building to carry a lot of the cooling water. It looks like they are jacketing it with this silver material over the black pipes themselves. That may be for insulation, but it may also have another purpose as well. So bring the drone back up and zoom out. I'll show you some of the work that's going on here on the south end of the structure. And of course, over where all of the megapacks are being installed on this side. Currently, there's about total of about 134 installed on both sides of the Cortex 2 right now. And there's room to add probably another 100, maybe 150. We'll have to see how that all comes together. But as I maneuver around here, you can see some more equipment being delivered today. Those are going to be part of the electrical equipment that helps support the Megapack site. More of the screw type piers have been installed all along this side, and then they'll start putting the platforms and the lower beams in so they can start putting more of the megapacks in. And as I pull away, this gives you a really good sense of just how much more room and how many more megapacks are going to be installed on this side of the site. So while I'm here, I'll fly further to the west over the water detention pond to show you some of the rebar cages and other materials being prepared to be installed into the electrical switch yard. We see the end result of that with the footings here have been poured with concrete. Some mounts, a new slab is being put on the right-hand side of the screen. And as I pan around, you can tell there's a lot more of these footings for A-frames and steel items yet to be installed. In fact, this is getting ready for an A-frame to be installed very soon, next to this slab and catch basin for the third transformer. As we kind of maneuver here around this side of the site and see the control trailers with the underground vaults at the bottom of the screen, you can tell that the blast wall is being installed between the two transformers on the right-hand side of the screen. Work is being done with the cable tray trenches along the entire side here and how it all is coming together. I'm going to pan back towards Cortex 2 just to give you kind of a sense of context of where we are on the site. More of the contractor vehicles at the bottom of the screen being parked because of the change of that far southwest contractor parking. And then here, these materials are very interesting. I was able to zoom in. You can see the www.ahu.com. And this is the Cambridge Precision Power HVAC units for high-quality rooftop products and HVAC accessories. I believe all this is going to be installed on the roof of Cortex 2. And this material, I've had some viewers speculate it may be part of the false floor on the west hall for inside of Cortex 2. Not really sure about that, but it is feasible. Here's one last shot of some materials. All of this is for the chiller units, fan enclosures, and some of the fan motor kind of parts to make that all work, all being stored here. So I'll bring the drone up to a higher altitude and fly up to the north a little bit just to kind of reveal most of the site that we were able to see today. As you can tell, just a lot of activity, a lot of preparation for some major future construction. And on the upper left-hand side of the screen where all of that is getting ready to be relocated so that we can see construction there. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your support. I hope you have a great weekend. Take care.